Greetings, YouTube. It will come as no surprise to anyone that conservative judges that have daughters are more likely to vote favorably for women's issues in cases than judges that have only sons. Not 100%, of course, but over the course, over sampling, significant sampling, the judges that have daughters are more likely to sympathize with the issues of women. And this shouldn't be surprising to anyone. Because one of the things that we've seen time and time again is that socially conservative people don't seem to be aware that other families and other people are worthy of empathy, sympathy, and compassion unless they have a personal link to the issue. So if social conservatives are living in a bubble where they personally think there are no gay people, which is bull, there are gay people everywhere, then it's perfectly fine for them in their minds to discriminate them, because they're not discriminating against anyone they know. It's the other. The social conservatives are incredibly good at othering people. And the judges, socially conservative judges that have just boys, it is easier for them to make rulings against women's issues because it doesn't affect their family. It doesn't seem to occur to them that it would be adversely affect their mothers, their wives, or their sisters, or aunts. That doesn't seem to occur to them. But if they have daughters, now there's a link, a direct link, that they have a harder time ignoring. And someone in the thread here, I'll be linking to a Metafiller discussion on this, said that one of the reasons they believe this is true is that because daughters speak to their fathers about their experiences of discrimination and sexism in the world, because the daughters are still thinking of their fathers as allies. Even though in the past their fathers may have ruled against women's issues, the daughters are still seeing them as father figures that are there to help them, and not as authority figures that are there to oppress them. So they open up to them, and that opening up makes that connection, that empathetic connection, that helps open up the heart of the socially conservative judge to understanding that just because I am not walking in those shoes does not mean that that person is not deserving of equal treatment under the law. Now, there are exceptions to this rule. One of the most important exceptions in the United States would be Judge Scalia on the Supreme Court, because he has 4 daughters. And he has said categorically that women should not expect equal protection under the 14th Amendment. Quoting him, "Certainly the Constitution does not require discrimination on the basis of sex. The only issue is whether it prohibits it. It doesn't." So as far as Scalia is concerned, if women are trying to use the 14th Amendment to get equal access to rights in America, it isn't going to wash with him. It will not work. And it's also interesting to note that during the U.S. versus Virginia, where a 7-to-1 vote allowed women to enter the VMI military school, guess who was the one vote against it? That's right, Scalia. So social conservative judges can have incredible amounts of power. Now, thankfully, there were 7 people on that Supreme Court that overruled him. But if you get enough socially conservative judges that don't have daughters, or have daughters and are willing to ignore their humanity, then things can go adversely for you if you happen to be a woman. Now, if you look at the ethnicity of the court, there's a whole lot of white people up there. It shouldn't come as a surprise that there have been cases that have ruled against, numerous times, against those that aren't white. These kinds of biases are present everywhere in our legal system, and we need to identify them, and we need to root them out. We do need to eliminate them. We need to make sure that the rulings are being based on law and on reason and on logic, and not on the personal biases of these judges. Now, the social conservatives in America are always claiming that there are liberal judges out there that are, gaming the system. They're activist judges. Except here we have an activist judge, right there, Scalia. He is letting his personal, socially conservative worldview completely overshadow his ability to make an unbiased legal decision. And yet, we apparently let that slide. I don't think we should. I think we need to make sure we put people in these positions of authority that are going to represent the people. All of the people in these cases. That you aren't just ruling on a system of words on a page. You're ruling on a system that represents human beings. That those laws have impacts, ramifications, consequences. And when your legal system forgets that, when it becomes nothing but pedantic data mining, when it becomes nothing but empty legalisms, and you forget the humanity involved, well, that's when bad things happen. That's when courts decide that money is speech. That's when courts decide that corporations are people. And we need to stop that kind of thing. And I'm not 100% sure how we do it. But identifying the problem at least is the first step in the path towards a resolution. So, here we go. Socially conservative judges that have daughters are more likely to rule favorably to women's issues. That isn't a shock. Socially conservative people who have gay children are more likely to support gay issues. Not always, but more likely. So, what do we do? At least we've identified it. The next step, though, is coming up with a plan.